last month actually, the Lord gave me this prophetic teaching. Um, it's about you know yeah, I know personally that this is something that I have experienced myself personally. So I was kind of nervous about speaking this for, but um so I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't teaching this, from the wrong from a feeling, or emotion. So then you don't get the word, twisted or wrong. So um, so I do would like to go for it, but first I like to give an honor to my leaders. To my visionary, the Apostle Asia Turner and my pastor Shrinko Turner. Um, I am Brother Henry Jackson from Seven Stone Fellowship Deliverance Ministry, located within North Las Vegas, Nevada. So, no, the title of this message is going to be specifically entitled "The Power of for Forgiveness." We going to be inside the book of Genesis, chapter 16, verses 1 through 9, then verses 15 and 16. So, if you have ever heard of the story, about God promising Abraham his son or a child, um, this was after the fact of years had went by, and so um, I believe Sarah, it became very ancient, with the fact of, yeah, she had to wait a pretty long time. But not only that, but um, so I think how this story is played out is basically, they've been waiting for their child for years, and so they are still in the process of waiting, and so Sarah begins to take matter into her own hands. So um, as I do would like to start our reading. I will be reading from the voice translation here. So all right. So verse 1 reads, "Where despite God's promise, years went by, and still Abraham's wife Sarah remained childless, but she did have a Egyptian servant girl whose name is Hagar. Sarah had an idea, so she approached her husband, and and this is exactly what she said to her husband in verse 2, which reads, "You can see that the Eternal One has still not allowed me to have any children. So why don't you sleep with my servant girl, and maybe I could use her as a segregate, and another word for that would just be a substitute, and have a child through her." Okay, so basically we can read in verse number 1 I just read to you, but it says here that this wasn't God's plan at all. So this was Sarah's doing, right? So yeah, there was years when God had promised, when she overheard the conversation that God had with her husband about um God promising him children. And so this was years after the fact. So this was years after she overheard God telling her husband that okay, this is the child that I'm gonna bear you with. So due due to the factor where Sarah is within her life, where she already knew that she was childless, and so um in her younger years being with her husband, they've tried to have children, and so you know, but it's not until when she heard the Lord say to her husband, he promised him this, and so this was years after the fact, and she's still waiting. So I believe Sarah's at that point now, where she's trying to figure out, okay, years just went by, and the Lord has promised me and my husband a child, and even though that may be the case, um, does the Lord know I'm childless? And this is just basically Sarah mindset, as if she's 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 trying to. I think she's assuming that God doesn't know or doesn't realize or doesn't or have or God has really forgot about her being childless or barren. Yeah, as well as your Bible may read. So so now out of her uh expectations, she decides not the Lord didn't give her this plan or this message, but then this is what she decided that she wanted to do herself. So she decided to go to her husband and ask her husband, well, would you mind, laying down with my servant? Or um as if that, because she's younger, she's more fit, you know um all of this being the case, yeah. But we gonna keep reading here, because it is gonna get very interesting. So it reads here, it reads within my notes here, that Sarah's solution to her problem is not unique. Ancient Near Eastern customs allow for these kinds of arrangements. So, so what Sarah was trying to do was, it was kind of normal, yeah, yeah, around that time, as far as where they were. So actually, this was just completely normal, which is how other people done things around there. So uh, okay, so it reads, Abraham listened to his wife Sarah and agreed to follow her plan. Verse 3 reads, and after they had lived 10 years in Canaan, Abraham's wife Sarah took her servant girl Hagar, the the Egyptian woman, and gave her to her husband Abraham as a wife. Verse 4, so Abraham slept with Hagar. And it say here in my Bible, it says that it was not long before she conceived. But as soon as she knew she was pregnant with Abraham's child, Hagar's attitude changed, and she became haughty, and another word for that, it would be um, stuck up, stuck up towards Sarah. Verse 5 says Sarah will not tolerate her servant looking down on her, so she approached Abraham again. So here's the thing. Here's exactly what I seen from this so far. Not only did Sarah decide to, take will inside her own hands, but she also involved her husband, and so now her husband feels like, okay, okay, so this is something that you wanted to do. So he's in the position of, okay, he just wanted to help his wife out. So the fact that he may been on the edge of, trying to figure out, yeah, like the last time he probably heard from the Lord about this situation was years ago. and so he may be on the edge as well. It's about, when is my child coming? Because the Lord haven't sent any messages to me. He haven't spoken to me about it in such a long time. But to where he decided to go with his wife idea, and so he actually believes his wife for what for what it is she's trying to do. So knowing the fact that not only that, but she took Hagar and laid her down for him, and he conceived with her. So with this being the case, I I don't know if about this, but Hagar only knows for a fact that here are these two men and women of God that she lived with, um, since she was serving with them, and far as she know that these two are good people, right? But then let's just step inside of Hagar's shoes for a second. Hagar is a one woman where she's a very servant. She's a very um beautiful young woman, and so she is not just a beautiful woman, but she's a woman that has dreamed that wants to be a wife to another husband. You're just like any other young person wants. Yeah, they want their own life, their own future, their own things. And so, knowing the fact that her own master, Sarah, told her to lay down with her husband, now you can picture what's probably going around inside her head at that moment. Wow, which is like, wow, like these are two people who say that they are a man and woman of God, but here they are taking advantage of me. So she's feel offended right now. And so, other words, there's a lot of things going on inside her head about how should I take this, because I didn't do anything wrong to them. I've served them. I served them as much as I could. So picture you having two people that you love the most, and instead of them showing you that love that you wanted from them, or you know you at least respect from them, the only thing you get from them is they being disrespectful towards you, or they take advantage of you, right? No, so this was going through her head. And so not only that, but the fact that when Hagar finds out that she's pregnant, she's upset, and of course she's going to be upset, and you know, yeah, and so it said in verse 5, it say that Sarah would not you would not put up with her attitude, and what's going on in my mind is back then in those days, which was very very valuable to a woman back then, which was them being a virgin, and the reason why they took that very heavily is because women back then knew that if they was a virgin, that them being a virgin can actually guarantee them a husband, which means that it can guarantee them a future. So knowing from Hagar's point of view that not only did the two people who she loves, where she feel like they've uh, um, offended her by doing something wrong to her, but most importantly, they stripped it from her own future that she had planned, that she probably dreamed of being. So this isn't just some simple thing. Probably it was from Sarah's point of view, or from Abraham's point of view, but from her point of view, she lost a whole lot more than just her laying down and just giving herself away. So of course, Hagar's is upset about this, and so she runs off, and so she's trying to pack her bags. So here, Sarah gets mad at Abraham, right? So this is what she says to him: "This is all your fault. Yet I allowed my servant girl to be intimate with you, and as soon as she saw she was pregnant with your child, she started behaving ignorantly and disrespectfully towards me. I have done nothing to deserve this, but let the Eternal One judge who is in the wrong here, you or me." Wait a minute. So now I'm trying to figure out inside of my mind. Okay, this is not only your fault, Sarah, but you also got your husband involved, and now you mad at them both. So you mad at her for being hurt, and you mad at him for him following your plan because your plan didn't work the way that you wanted it to work. And then not on top of that, but she also have the nerves to um, say your child, like she actually got the nerves to put the blame on him. Like this is all you're doing. And then she have the nerves to say, um, we gonna let God judge and see, who's inside the wrong here, you or me. So I'm like, what I'm thinking about right now is like Abraham is not the one with the problem, nor Hagar is the one with the problem. Like all I see right now is Sarah is the one, with this big, uh, ego right now. So she's still all in about what she wants from these two. So okay, so verse 6 read in so Abraham responds back and says, "Sarah, look, she is still your servant girl. Do whatever you want with her. She's under your control." So basically, Abraham just said to his wife, "Look, yeah, I know you trying to flip out on me about the situation, but this is actually a thing only between you and her. This ain't got nothing what to do with me." So now, so Abraham knows that, hey, I was just a man who was just willing just to help out. So it do well continues reading toward verse 7, and it says, "So Sarah clamped down on Hagar severely," and another word for that, which just mean strictly. So not only Sarah have her nerves in trying to make up her own plan, but get her husband involved, and then get upset at Hagar for responding in a, I don't know, she Hagar has a right to respond in this matter the way she did, but Sarah get mad at both of them because they're not going along with her plan for some odd reason. So so not only that, but Sarah got the nerves where to try to streak, or in other words, Sarah have the nerves where to snap back at Haggai. I mean, no, at Hagar, as if that she's the, like if she the one got the attitude problem, right? So verse 7 reads, so the message messenger of the Eternal One found Hagar alone by a spring of water out in the desert. it was the spring water along the road that went to shore. So it reads here in verse 8, it says, so no, so here the angel has spoke to her, and he spoke, saying to her, Hagar, Sarah's servant girl, where have you come from, and where are you planning to go? And she responds, says that I am running away from my mistress, Sarah. And so check this out. In verse 9, it says, Hagar, so he says to her, go back to your mistress and change your attitude. Be respectful and listen to her instructions. Pause right there. Now I'm sitting there reading this, and for everything that I told you from the very beginning, that this is Sarah's plan, and so we already know she's the one that's out the wrong for all this. But even though that may be the case, now the Lord have the nerves to say to Hagar, who's the one who's been feeling, being taken advantage of and wronged. Here the Lord sends a message to her saying to her, turn back and go right back to the people who just hurted you. So you may be, what's in my mind right now is the Lord crazy for telling, her to go right back to the people who have just hurted her? So can you imagine someone taking advantage of you and you got the right to be mad? And so, yeah, Hagar has right to be mad and be upset, and you know because of how much she felt that they took away from her. So she has a right to be upset. But however, the Lord sends a message to her telling her, even though you're mad, even though I know you was crying tears at night, even though I know that you feel um no manipulated, I still need you to turn around and go right back to the people who hurted you. And the pop and so it says, so he continues saying, and the reason why is because you're pregnant, and you need to go home. Is verse 10 says, trust me, I am going to give you many children and many descendants, so many you won't be able to count them. So wait a minute. So the Lord didn't just tell her just go back, but he gave her a reason to go back. That the thing that she felt that have hurted her, yeah, yeah, it's going to be the thing that's going to bless you. I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but if you ever been offended by what someone said to you, or about what someone's done to you, or as you may feel like you have a right to be mad, and you have a right to not to speak to that person, you may have a right, you know, not to, socialize with them, or whatever. But the Lord clearly tells Hagar to go back to the people that hurt her, and he had promised her a blessing. So just imagine that the fact that Hagar know, like, is, yeah, is okay. So okay, check this out. Here's exactly like what the Lord said to me after I read through this so far. Yeah, the Lord said to me, even though you know that Sarah have did that this was her plan and she was going after what she wanted to go after, this whole story is not about Sarah. And so no, this story, yeah, is not about Abraham, even though that he may feel like, okay, I'm just in this, just to help out my wife, and so he was just trying to be a good servant, but he didn't realize that from him just by him just trying to help, that he have also hurted, you know, Hagar inside the long run. So he may feel bad about the fact that, okay, no, I'm just helping out my wife, and so I'm just being a good husband, but in return, yeah, he ended up hurting Hagar. So it's like, yeah, he feel like he's caught between, two rocks right now. So even though that we may look at Abraham's point of view, and but however, this story is not about him. This story is more about Hagar, the one who didn't do anything. Yeah, this story is about her, and the reason why it's about her is because the Lord said to me, Sarah and Abraham doesn't have any power with you in this situation. Even though Sarah was the one that started it, even though Abraham was the one that had assisted, right? But the Lord said to me, Hagar is the one who has the power inside of her hands to do something. So you may be thinking like, how, like, she's the one that got taken advantage of, right? So she was the one who got used, who felt used. She's the one that we may think that, okay, she the one who got strong handed here out the situation. So she may look like she's the weak one, but the Lord said to me, no, like she's the strongest one out of them both, and here's why. No, the reason why Hagar is the strongest one out of this situation, because by her walking, okay, in forgiveness alone, she's going to be able to change the hearts of Sarah and A- Abraham. So on it. So if someone do you wrong, no, the Lord isn't really looking for you to forget and to forgive by just saying to them, okay, I forgive you for you hurting me. But the power behind forgiveness isn't you just saying it. The power behind forgiveness is about you actually walking that out. And you walk it out by you showing them that you're not hurt. Or in other words, if they did mistreat you, you still pick up the phone, you still call them, you still socialize with them as if nothing has ever happened. And so that, you know, you may think inside of your natural mind, like I may have, okay, she just gonna let these two people just run over her. Honestly, no, because what this actually shows here is that is Hagar is, yeah, is actually the bigger woman. She's the one woman that's walking in love right now, because okay, so verse 15 says, it reads, so Hagar returned home and gave birth to Abraham's son. So Abraham named his son Ishmael. So Abraham was already 86 years old when Hagar gave birth to Ishmael. So you can imagine that, you know, no, by Hagar turning around and forgiving, by showing it, by going back and having her attitude change like the Lord asked her to, not only Sarah got her child that she wanted, but also Abraham got his son. And you can believe that from that point on, they became a family again. So, the whole power of forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person getting the advantage. The whole point of forgiveness is for you to walk more maturely in love, and by you doing that, then you will change the hearts of those people who have mistreated you. So when you are the other person on the other side, and if you did do something wrong and they forgave you, yes, that's going to hit you a certain way, and that is going to make you cry, and it's gonna like make you seem look at them like, wow, like, like, even though that I've mistreated them or I've done them wrong, it will make them apologize, or it will make them open up to you, right? So even though the point that I had wanted y'all with to get out of this was, I just want y'all to understand that walking in forgiveness uh, isn't just for that other person, but it's mainly for you, because when you finally do walk in forgiveness, then by you walking in forgiveness, you will change the heart of those who have offended you. So, no, I do hope, that y'all have got something from this. Um, so I'm just gonna pray out. Where, dear Heavenly Father, I do come before you, delivering this prophetic message of forgiveness, and I hope that it reached the hearts of those who are in hurting situations, who are in manipulating situations, who are in shameful situations, who who are in offensive situations. Touch those people by heart, mind, soul, and spirit. Fill their spirit with love and with the power of your grace. In the wonderful name of Jesus, let the church say amen. God bless each one of y'all. I do hope that each one of you do receive this, and most importantly, walk it out. All right, so peace and God bless you all.